Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Luke and here on this channel I talk about fragrance, perfume, scent, focusing on designer, vintage and affordable fragrances. If that's something you're interested in, please consider subscribing. In today's video, I'll be reviewing a new fragrance that I just recently purchased. It's COCO Mademoiselle Intense from Chanel. You can pronounce it COCO Mademoiselle Intense de Chanel, to pronounce it the French way, but I'll just keep saying COCO Mademoiselle in this video because this video is in English, obviously. So I've had this fragrance for a few weeks now and I think I can do a proper review. I'm a fan of the original COCO Mademoiselle. Always was, always will be. It's just a scent profile that appeals to me. I love rose, I love patchouli, citrusy notes, orange, and the Intense has all the same notes as the original, but it's so much better in my opinion. I'll tell you everything you need to know about it in the video. I'll compare it to the original and I'll tell you how it performs. So let's get right into it. COCO Mademoiselle Intense was released in 2019 and like the original, it's classified as a modern chypre, a citrusy floral chypre. The nose behind it was Olivier Polge, who is the son of Jacques Polge, the previous Chanel in-house perfumer. I actually remember when this one came out back in 2019, I had a carded sample and I remember really liking it. But because I had the original and I think I also had the body lotion, I didn't feel like I needed it. But I really got into patchouli at the end of 2023 and my patchouli obsession is still going strong. To be honest, I'm a patchouli hound. I'm a real patchouli hound. I love patchouli. And the original COCO Mademoiselle had a substantial, well, it's still available, has a substantial amount of patchouli. I can really smell it, but it's also very citrusy, kind of fresh, rosy, uplifting. It's just a classic. Not everybody loves it, but I do, and that's all that matters. So Chanel says on their website that this fragrance is, quote, a new facet of the COCO Mademoiselle personality, amplified by an extreme dose of patchouli and an amber accord that combines tonka bean and vanilla from Madagascar. A powerful, deep, and irresistible composition. And I have to agree, this has a very pronounced earthy patchouli note to it. And Chanel really knows how to do patchouli. They have some of the best patchouli fragrances on the market, in my opinion. But back to COCO Mademoiselle Intense. The patchouli note is very nice. It's strong, it's earthy, but it also has the amber accord, which is what, in my opinion, sets this fragrance apart. It makes it different from the original. They kept all the notes that can be found in the original, but they amplified the base. So the Intense is stronger, sweeter, even sexier than the original, but it still retains the COCO Mademoiselle DNA, which makes it a modern classic. Like the original, it opens with a burst of citruses, of which the orange is the strongest in my opinion. There's also some fruitiness, but this is nowhere near as fruity as Miss Dior or some other fruit patchouli. The heart notes are mainly florals, while the base consists of patchouli, vanilla, tonka bean, labdanum and musk. This one has more vanilla and more patchouli than the original, but it also has a very strong musk note. It's got a very pronounced muskiness. The original is lighter. The original is more about the crispness of the citruses, the rose. It has the same notes, but the base is more demure. You can smell the patchouli, but there's no real warmth to it. There's no amberiness to it, even though it still has notes like labdanum and vanilla that are considered part of the amber accord. So the Intense is definitely much warmer, less citrusy, less floral, definitely not crisp. And I really, really enjoy it. When it dries down, it almost leans masculine, in my opinion. I can smell the citruses and the florals for about 2 to 3 hours, and then the scent becomes all about the patchouli, but it's still somewhat linear. It just smells like COCO Mademoiselle. As soon as you spray it on, you can smell the patchouli underneath the citruses. And I don't mean to say that it morphs into a completely different fragrance when it dries down. It doesn't. So, as I said, this fragrance has a very rich, deep, and complex base, which is slightly reminiscent of the original COCO, in my opinion, which is an ambery fragrance with some clove and spices, peach in the top. It's such a nice one. I love COCO. And the base of this one is somewhat reminiscent of that one, even though it's a completely different fragrance. It goes in a completely different direction. It's a fruit patchouli, and COCO is a spicy, floral, oriental, peachy, kind of 80s style fragrance. I find this fragrance to be very elegant, sexy, but understated, and definitely grown up, but not too serious. This is Mademoiselle Chanel. After all, this is not Madame Chanel, this is Mademoiselle. And Coco, Gabrielle Chanel, she remained unmarried and childless, even though she was known to have many affairs throughout her lifetime. But she was still Mademoiselle Chanel, and she was always put together, elegant, but she never took herself too seriously. She was a pioneer in women's fashion, and she passed away in 1971, so she never smelled COCO or any of the flankers. But I think she would have approved of them if she had had the chance to try them. So this fragrance is just like COCO, just like COCO the person. She's elegant, mature, put together, but also a little bit playful and youthful, and even a bit masculine, because let's face it, COCO was inspired by menswear. She started making trousers for women, boxy cuts, loose blazers and jackets, because she found these clothes liberating in a way. Even her iconic 2.55 bag is said to have been inspired by equestrian clothing and garments like riding coats and saddle blankets. So she always chose practicality over romanticism and idealism, which was more like what Christian Dior's designs depicted. So I hope you didn't mind this digression. I just wanted to show that why I think COCO would have approved of this fragrance. In terms of performance, this fragrance is an excellent performer. I only spray about 5 to 8 sprays because it's so strong. It's definitely stronger than the original. The sillage is amazing. It lingers for hours in the room where you sprayed it. I can smell it on myself, and it easily lasts 10 to 12 hours on my skin and even longer on clothes. So the longevity is great. This is a great quality fragrance. I wouldn't expect anything less from Chanel. So this is a great fragrance. If you love the original COCO Mademoiselle, definitely check out the Intense. Do you really need it? I don't know. I actually decluttered my COCO Mademoiselle, the original, because I don't need it. I never wore it. Since I bought this one, this is the only one that I'm going to wear. And I still like the original, but I'm just not keeping 2 bottles that smell practically the same. But this one is much better in my opinion. It's also slightly more expensive. So if you want to go for the cheaper version, definitely buy the original. You still get the same rose, citrus, patchouli combination. This one has a bit more patchouli, a bit more amber, but it's more or less, it's the same scent profile. And when someone smells it on you, they'll just know that you're wearing COCO Mademoiselle. They won't be able to tell the difference between the two. You can tell the difference if you smell them side by side. As you can see, I still have a sample of the original, so I was able to compare them side by side. And I definitely prefer the Intense. So that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments if you own COCO Mademoiselle or any of the flankers. Please do feel free to comment anything. I read all of your comments and I always respond. I love chatting with you in the comments. So definitely leave me a comment, give this video a like, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. So thanks for watching. Have a nice rest of the week. Bye.